Yo, what up, everybody? It's Crypto Oki. Let's go. What a beautiful day. All right, we are again talking about Monero, and the reason is because I believe it's at a good point to make a good long position. Whereas some of the other cryptos, I don't see a good entry right now. I'm not worried about XRP or Stellar. It's just the entry was, back here. I don't know. Don't know what to say much more than that. It just, I like what the position I have, but the entry position was a couple weeks ago. So that's just what it is what it is. Now, with Monero, again, I said it before. The question is, why is it kind of lagging? I don't exactly know, but I do believe we're in a good entry position. So that's why I'm talking about it the most. So again, looking at the monthly, absolutely beautiful month so far, halfway through. And as far as the monthly goes, you really want to see a close above this 189 level, which I believe will easily have and surpass probably. I talked about the RSI and the MACD yesterday, which looked beautiful. Again, 20 week, now sloping up. Used it as support. Now going to use it as fuel. Let's check out the Bollinger Bands. I just wanted to look at the Bollinger Bands. That helped me with XRP a lot. But you can see this kind of squeeze. I mean, we had a squeeze here back in February of 2024, so almost a year ago, and had a big breakdown, as you can kind of see. We're closing on the in the area on the lower bands and have kind of touched it. And I think the middle of the Bollinger Bands is a 20 week, so that's why you're seeing that line up there. But we're looking at closing above, which is a huge bullish sign. So I do expect this, and with the fact that it's been tight for a year, that is very promising. So Bollinger Bands are looking great. I mean, if you go back to 2020, the first time you really closed above the Bollinger Bands was in September, and then you had a huge follow through. Again, I like this one much better because it's been longer, and I think we can go up a lot higher. This one was coming off, from the low was the COVID crash, so take that with a grain of salt. From the low, it was a 300% move. And let's pretend the COVID kind of didn't happen, the crash didn't happen, even if it's from the close here. That was a 130% move. Now, and that was within 6 months. Even if we go all the way back to February, which is almost a year, the move right now is about 100%. That's from the low. So I just think there's a lot more to this move, and almost all the signs are pointing to a huge rise. And I was even surprised at some of my targets I was thinking about. I think it's going into the thousands. I'll probably sell 75% in, I talked about the 270, I think I have the 360. No, I think I have the 420, 630, and 890. Those are kind of my targets where I will be, selling. And then I will think, $2,000, $4,000 Monero is in the cards. So I think it's a great time to go long here. And I think we'll see. So monthly, all systems go. Weekly as well, all systems go. So here we have a close above the Bollinger Band. This week is just absolutely beautiful. Came down, flushed people out, and is rising and staying above this line, above the Bollinger Band and this green line. I have these lines. If we take away the Bollinger Band here, I have these the first, the lower one at 188 is, we didn't see those levels since June of 2022. So is that 2.5 years, right? That's kind of marks. There's never been we've never had a close above 189 on the weekly for 129 weeks. So that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And now we're going to get two in a row, and it's way above the 200. It's way above the 189. So I like that. Interestingly, I also kind of drew this initial drop had the rebound to about 208, which is actually about the level we're at right now. And I think we'll close above it. And so you kind of see this area. This is going to be our just absolute support, I believe. So I'd be willing to say, we're not going below that 185 level ever again. I mean, I'd be comfortable in saying that. I wouldn't want to see it just because it's just so strong. There's never been a close in here. This area is just turning into support for sure as we go higher. So I don't, we've literally never had a close in here. I mean, we have, but that was March 2022. Before this last dead cat bounce, before this stuff, you never had a close in this level, which is pretty interesting. Which is really interesting, to be honest. And I like it. I like it a lot. So that's good. With the weekly, again, Bollinger Bands looking great. And just this candle, I mean, this is, great energy candle telling us the trend is up. This one, got to wait for it to close, which is in 1 day, a day and a half. But this just tells us, it went down. The price did not want to stay low, and it just got immediately rejected from these low levels or bought up, however you want to say it. And it's rebounded really nicely. So I do think I'm super optimistic that this might even close as a green candle, which would be ridiculous. I mean, it's already a bullish candle, even though it's red. But again, coming off the bottoms, and if this was green, I mean, can you imagine this wick? I mean, you never see a candle like this, very rarely, especially on a weekly. You might see this, on a 15-minute chart. This is a very rare occurrence where you have these two together. I mean, you could keep going back and, I might miss some, but I really just don't see that kind of wick down. I just don't see anything that really resembles that kind of style. Just back to back like that. I mean, here you have this, a little bit pullback. That, I mean, it's really something special. And I like that I'm a little bit like, questioning it. Like, is it? I think it's a healthy, nervous, healthy little skepticism. Healthy, it kind of has been frustrating. I thought it was going to break out a little bit. A couple months ago, I thought it was looking promising with some of this, and then it got smashed down. So it has been frustrating, but I think that's a good thing in trading, to be a little frustrating, make good decisions, be a little frustrated. Like, again, I wasn't expecting this liquidity event on the 9th. And I did get stopped out by a little bit on my leverage position, but I was liking the bounce, so I got back in pretty quickly, and then increased my spot position as well because I'm just super bullish here. I guess the smart thing would be, we do kind of hang around in this area, but I would like us just to, like I said, on the weekly, I'd like us to just close above this 208. That'd be great. But we'll see. A lot could happen today. Last night it was doing great. This morning fell down. All the other cryptos are down, and Monero is pretty much leading the pack. So that's a good thing. The daily is just, it is what it is. You can't really, not really making decisions based on this at this point. I'm much more interested to see how this thing closes tomorrow evening. And again, I mean, if this was green, can you imagine a wick? So if it was green, I mean, it'd be closing above 222 and a half with a 30% wick. I mean, that, I don't know. I mean, there's some books to be read in the trading sphere and Japanese candlesticks. I mean, just what that is saying about this market is amazing. And nobody's talking about Monero. I can't even see it. You look on YouTube, you can't find a video on Monero. Go to Twitter, nobody's talking about Monero. And that can be, that can be bad sometimes, but that can be good because we're above the 200 week. We had a low drawdown. It's not like let me look at like Tilray. Let's pick on Tilray. This is a shitty, nobody's talking about Tilray, and it's still going down. I mean, it's actually unfathomable, and it's almost impressive how terrible this stock is. But this is something that nobody's talking about and is doing terrible. Maybe it, broke this. Maybe it comes up and goes well, but I just want to show you something that's a terrible looking stock versus something nobody's talking about Monero, but look at this. I mean, we're above this again. Can't stress how important it is that we're getting closes, which I guess you could even go to this area, that we got to close last week. That hasn't happened in 133 weeks. And now we're getting a second one. So again, that's over 2.5 years. And all the momentum's to the upside now. I'm thinking teleportation north, absolute teleportation north. I don't see much resistance here. I don't think this is going to prove to be much of a resistance level. And I expect us to be in this $400, $500 range. Rapido, super rapido. So we'll check that out. So yeah, daily, I don't think there's not. It could just go up on the daily. It's not really. I think the position needs to be in, anywhere in this area. Sure, if you want to make the best position ever, you could wait for levels, but who knows? The more frustrated I get, I know the better it will be. That's why it's hard sometimes talking about it. It took me, 3 months for XRP. I thought I was going to break out a lot sooner. But on the flip side, look how quick it did go up once I've been waiting for this thing to break and go up. This looks great. Highest daily in months. Bam, back down. Luckily, I kind of got onto this. I saw, and even here, some of the other cryptos was starting to look good, and this happened, and I was like, what the flip? But luckily, I was able to kind of identify this pattern here, and it looked awfully similar to, I wonder if I can even go back. It looks awfully similar to the first breakout we had back in 2016 or 17. Which there's the top. Which there it is. Almost identical. Right? This descending wedge type structure. And then once I saw that, I was like, you know what, this thing's going. And I knew that it didn't have to go much higher for that to happen, right? I knew it just had a little bit more before it was like, all right, this thing's done, right? I mean, you had we have the big triangle, but you also had triangles, more weekly triangles, something like this. So I knew once we hit that, really closed above that 200 and really just broke the 65, 67 level, we were going to go up pretty high. If we look at, I really thought this was it kind of, I guess, that kind of relates to Monero on the daily. I thought this was it. Okay, we have a weekly candle, but it didn't break this. But I was like, we finally break the 200. We hadn't been above the 200 since April. Oh man, this thing's ready. And then Gary Gensler pulled some shit or whatever, but it doesn't matter. And then we had this terrible candle, and I did think we were going to come back lower after that, but kind of saw that pattern. Trump won everything. The world is right again. And then bam. And so I'm expecting something like this, where it's just, straight up for 3 weeks with huge, huge gains. So again, we're looking at that. Look at that. Closed above, well above. It wasn't even close. We have a close 20% above, 21% above the 200-week moving average, which, has been definitely respected. We're getting a second candle above, and I don't expect much give back next week because of the test this week. And I expect us to just absolutely skyrocket. Elon Musk style. Kim Jong-un style. All right, let's look at against Bitcoin. I'm going to move some. Actually, I'm going to keep some of these. I was really thinking this would break higher. Trying to draw some sort of descending channel. Anyway. Again, okay. Over here, this is against Bitcoin. We have a initial bottom followed by what I believe we're making a second bottom. And so I think it's going to be next week, we're going to be breaking this much, much higher, and we'll have some sort of double bottom action. And we're going to go much higher here. Looks, these two candles look similar to the weekly. And that's what happens in a bull market. The Bitcoin chart starts to kind of just look like the USD chart. And I believe that's what's happening. Here's the one kicker. I still haven't gotten what I wanted over here in the order book last night. Rising, taking out these highs. Oh, everything's great. And then all this selling. It doesn't take much. Again, this order book, because it's only on a few exchanges, it's tougher to kind of decipher. Look at this. This is a crappy chart. So it's hard to really say. Obviously I would love to see a bunch of green underneath it, like we saw in the stellar chart. But, the perpetual contract, this one's looking good, has been looking good for quite a while. The spot has not been looking as good. But with this chart, I will say, once you stop seeing the red, it kind of goes up. So I think it's okay. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that. It's frustrating me, but I know that it's good for me. It's hard in trading because you don't want to get frustrated and take something, write it down. But if you're just kind of frustrated when it should break out, that's kind of a good sign. So, yeah. Again, I think if this is a green candle, it's just that if you don't believe me, what is that telling us? What is it telling us? That it went all the way down and closed definitely near the top, and even green, that could be just a spectacular. All right, everybody. Cryptoki, peace out. Let's go.